Hello, everybody, and welcome to my American Whiskey of the Year tasting. Just want to jump in the chat. I see Brewin in the house. I got Ryan Norman, Jewel Reese. Nice to see everybody here. I also saw that Matt from ADHD Whiskey has already chimed in, wanting to get a second opinion out there on that Pappy. Well, Matt, we may just have to arrange that. But I got to warn you, it really, really is not good. Now, this will not, the Pappy Van Winkle 23 year did not make this list. I'm going to tell you everything that made the list here in a moment. But first, I want to go over a few things. I'm also going to hang out with you all in the chat before we get rolling. Phil C., good to see you here. Casey Pearson in the house. We got a Victor T. also representing. Parrot Head. I love that name, by the way, Parrot Head. So, a little background on my Whiskey of the Year tastings. I have been doing this in some form since around 2009 when I was working for a magazine called Tasting Panel. Back then, that's a magazine that goes to bartenders. Back then, we called Weller 12-year kind of Whiskey of the Year, and then later Michter's like 20, like the following year. And then after that, after my stint with Tasting Panel, I started basically being a judge for the San Francisco World Spirits Competition starting in 2013. I was also the American Whiskey Critic for Whiskey Advocate and was a part of all of their Whiskey of the Years. I later went on to Forbes, and then as the pandemic hit, and I was kind of like gearing up this YouTube channel, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start throwing it all here. So this tasting is kind of a culmination of my career. It's over my years, I've made a lot of great friends in the industry. A lot of people, have supported me, from the distilleries. They support my podcast, they support my events, and I've become friends with a lot of them. And it's always awkward when I do a tasting of their stuff, and I say, you know what, it stinks. In the past year, I've called something out that smelled like pond scum. I've called things out that smelled like feces. I've called things out that smelled like a dead animal, and I'm friends with all of those people who make that stuff. And a lot of times they support my events, like they pay booth space for my events and stuff. So it's awkward. And also, in here, I have two of my best friends, Kenny and Ryan. I have a podcast with them called Bourbon Pursuit. They have a whiskey in here. And, they didn't influence me to get it in here. I just thought, it deserved to be in here. But it's important that you know all that stuff. I've got a disclosures claimer in the description. Go check that out when you get a chance. And Kenny, Ryan, if you're watching this, no promises on anything. And if I say something about your whiskey, I hope we can still be friends. This has been an incredible year for American whiskey. Jory Knowlton says it would be great in a cocktail. That is kind of one of the codes that we do throw out there from time to time. Tasters do when you say something like it would be good in a cocktail, but not good as a tasting. That's kind of a way of saying it kind of sucks. I've kind of pulled back on that a little bit over the years because people have gotten smart to the cocktail comment. Naptown Cigar Guy, Redwood Grizzly Beast. That's going to be in here. Vicious Victor T, good call. I think that was in regard to someone in the chat. But I'm going to talk a little bit about what we have accomplished this year in American whiskey. This past year, we've seen a lot of natural disasters, and my heart goes out to everyone in California right now who's suffering from the earthquakes. I know the bourbon community will step up and help there, but I've done kind of like a rough tally of all the various money that's been raised by the bourbon community for various charities and disaster relief. And by my counts, and I know it's probably not as accurate as it could be, but I think we're between $8 and $10 million raised by the bourbon community. People donating bottles, people buying barrels, distilleries donating barrels. This is such an amazing philanthropic community, and I'm just so proud to be a part of it. A big shout out to my partners in the Kentucky Bourbon Benefit, which we raised close to $6 million for both tornado victims in Kentucky and flood victims in eastern Kentucky. Westport Whiskey and Wine. Make sure you go check them out. Bill Minnick, the great auctioneer, Kentucky Distillers Association, and of course my fellow Bourbon Crusaders. Some of the biggest hearts in the entire world is that group, the Bourbon Crusaders. And also a big shout out to my co-organizers of the bourbon auction for Florida, where we just raised $170,000 for hurricane victims in Florida. All that money is going to the Collier County Foundation. So big shout out to Derek from the Whiskey Straight Up podcast. If you're not following Derek, please go do so on all the socials. He's an amazing, amazing dude and has a huge heart. And also, I think he's got a pretty damn good palate too. So Derek is someone to keep an eye on as you're expanding your taster base, if you will. Also, Goats Only, thank you for helping us get the Tom Brady stuff, as well as Unicorn Auctions. We could not have done it without Unicorn Auctions, who basically legalized that auction. Now, we had a lot of problems getting the Kentucky ABC denied us. We were not allowed to do a fundraiser for Florida here in Kentucky. And Florida, we had to do it in person, which was not possible. We wouldn't be able to get the bidders in the room. So thank you to Unicorn Auctions for making that happen. So I'm going to explain to you how this is going to go. But before I do that, I have the chat mode set up that subscribers only can get in there. Sometimes when I do these live streams, we get some bots. We get some... we've had some really anti-human related comments in there over the years. So the best way for me to prevent that while I'm doing this, so I can focus on this, is to simply have it on the subscriber only button. So if you're not a subscriber, I'd love it if you became one, but if you don't, I understand. But that's the reason why you won't be able to chat tonight. It's because we're trying to prevent some of the riffraff. Also, if you haven't hit that like button, please do so now. It helps the algorithm spread it out to people about what we are doing here. So I appreciate it if you hit the like button right now. Now, so here's how tonight is going to go. I have had 3 rounds, so you will witness live, like right here in this outfit, live, the final round. I have selected 15 final products that I have scored twice, and I will score one more time to declare my winner. Back in the old days, I always had a technique where I tasted things 3 times so I could make sure that my palate was never influenced badly, prior to going into a tasting. And so you are going to see that right now with the finals. This will actually be the 4th or 5th time I would have tasted these in kind of like a professional setting. But I have 2 scores on everything, these top 15 already. And but what you're going to see in the first round, you are going to see a first round tasting of 100 spirits in one sitting. And I am telling you, this is not easy. This is a very challenging task, but this is what professional tasters do. You taste like hundreds of them in a sitting, and it is absolutely insane. What I'm looking for aroma, I'm looking for taste, I'm looking for finish, but I'm doing it very quickly. And so I don't have a lot of time with the spirit, because when you're going through 100 products, you have to be bang, 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 bang. And if you're not that way and you sip too much, you pass out on the floor and then your palate sucks. So, it's not good for you. It's not good for the product. If you spend, if you really drink through it. So you have to taste, spit, taste, spit, taste, spit. There's a 2-camera setup for this, so you're going to see my notes overhead. You're also going to see what I am tasting as I am tasting it. Gary Penna, who is the president of the Bourbon Club of Arkansas, he is a moderator tonight, and he will be commenting in the chat what I'm tasting. If anybody has any questions about this round or the finals, Gary will have the key of what I am tasting. So now I am going to read off to you all what has made my top 100. This is in no particular order. It's not even alphabetical order, and this is what we will taste, and they will be labeled A1, A2, B1, B2, etc., etc. 10 flights of 10. That's alphabet and numerical. So here we go. So this is what has made the list. Elijah Craig, A122. Green River. MB Roland, Still Proof. Middle West, Berry Batch Rye. Old Fitzgerald, 17-year, bottled and bond. Larceny, B522. Jack Daniel's Triple Mash. Ben Holiday, Missouri Bourbon. BBC Discovery, Batch 9. Starlight, Bottle and Bond. J.T. Malik Rice Whiskey. And it's of note that I have 2 rice whiskeys in here tonight, and it's the first time I have ever had a rice whiskey in my top 100. 80 Laws 8-year, bottled and bond. Elijah Craig B522. Four Roses limited edition small batch. George T. Stagg from the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. William LaRue Weller from the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. Thomas Handy from the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. Frey Ranch Quad Malt. Driftless Glen small batch. Barrel Vantage. Barrel Gold Seagrass. Barrel Gray Bourbon. Makers BRT1. Makers BRT2. Kiamichi 8-year Willet Rye. Kiamichi 5-year Willet Rye. Willet 8-year Black Bottle Purple Top Bourbon. Wheated Bourbon. Old W.M. Tarr 7-year. Old Fitzgerald 19-year-old bottled and bond. Larceny C922. Angel's Envy Cask Strength. Russell's Reserve Single Rickhouse. Brothers Bond Cask Strength. Peg Leg Porker 8-year Rye. Prideful Goat 6-year Cask Strength Rye. Prideful Goat 15-year Bourbon. K-Luke Batch 1. K-Luke Batch 2, both blend of straights for bourbon. Dueling Grounds 4-year bottled and bond Linkumpinch. Hope I said that right. Bullet Cask Strength 2022. Starlight Huber's Double Oak. 2 XO Phoenix Blend. Pacific Coast Spirits California Blue Corn Whiskey. Atelier V Rees bottled and bond Louisiana Rice Whiskey. Pacific Coast American Single Malt Cask Strength. Doc Swinson's Exploratory Mente. Michter's 20-year-old. Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye Batch 3. Penelope Cask Strength 4-grain Batch 12. Smooth Ambler Contradiction Rye. Woodinville Whiskey Straight Rye. Uncle Nearest Premium Whiskey 1856. Garrison Brothers Guadalupe. Spirits of French Lick William Dalton bottled and bond. Cedar Ridge Port Finish Rye Batch 1. Nassif Blended Rye 110.86 proof. Nelson's Greenbrier Classic. Balcones Peanut Sauternes. Sagamore Spirit, Bottle in the Bond 5-year rye. Leopold Brothers 3-chambered rye. Old Potrero Straight Rye 6-year, 100% malted. Jefferson's Ocean, New York edition, batch 1. Chattanooga, bottled and bond, 22 I15R. New Riff, 4 Rookstook, malted rye. Redwood Empire, pipe dream, cask strength. Whew. Hold on here. Sweetens Cove, Speyside finish, 2022 limited edition. Smoke Wagon, Uncut and Unfiltered batch 163-6. Smoke Wagon, Malted Rye, batch 4. 15 stars, 14-year Kentucky Straight Bourbon. Bourbon, Boulder Spirits, Colorado Straight Bourbon cask strength, 5 years. Redwood Empire Rocket Top Bottle in the Bond Batch 2. Redwood Empire Grizzly Bourbon Bottle in the Bond Batch 2. Doc Swinson's Tawny Port Finish Bourbon. Doc Swinson's Blender Cut 115 Remus Repeal Reserve 6. Van Winkle Family Reserve Rye. Old Ezra 7-year proof Rye. Stag, formerly Stag Jr. Hemingway Rye, first edition. Smoke Wagon, Bottle to Bond Rye. Nashville Barrel Straight Bourbon. Tennessee edition, small batch. Barrel Seagrass Rye, Booker's, 22-2. Old Line Spirits American Single Malt, 5-year Bottle to Bond. Booker's, 2022-3, Kentucky Tea Batch, 126.5. Pursuit United, Batch 7cc. Foregate 8-year rye port finish. Pinhook 7-year Bourbon War. Kentucky Peerless small batch reserve. The Fraser collaboration. 291 Colorado Rye aspen and maple syrup barrels. Bradshaw Bourbon batch 7. Rabbit Hole Nevallier 16-year bourbon finished in French oak. Kentucky Senator 7-year. Stellum Equinox Blend 1 Bardstown Furculum. Liberty Pole Rye Whiskey, Bladen Bowl 22-year-old, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof C9 22, and Wyoming Whiskey National Parks brand, 5 years, batch 2. Now, I just stated all those. We have a lot of scribbling on here. In the event there is an error, there could be an error in here. The official results will be posted on fredminnick.com. That email will go out tomorrow morning. So make sure you go to fredminnick.com and get the full rankings. Now, while I am tasting, you will see the products as I am tasting. Those are correct. But because I have, there's been so many lists and people are pouring, and I do not actually know what's in front of me right now. I just want to have that caveat there in the event that there was a brand that appears in here that was not read. So here we go. There will also be an email going out at 8:30 that has my entire list in alphabetical order. So here we go, folks. Here we go. Rob D. So I'm going to go ahead and answer a few questions here. Rob D. There are no Lucky Sevens in here. Vince Aldridge. There is no Russell's Reserve 13-year. I was not very high on that. Of course, that was my whiskey of the year last year. I was very disappointed when I tasted that. I did not do a formal review on it, but I did not care for it. Shirley May. There are a couple Bookers in here to be exact. I'll go ahead and give you the Booker's numbers. You will see them throughout, but there are definitely some Bookers in here. So Booker's Kentucky Tea Batch, and Booker's 22-2 is in here. Okay. Yes, Keith Thompson, Middle West's Pumpernickel is in here. It is the berries batch. It is the berries batch. Thank you, Greg, for that super chat. I appreciate that. Okay, all right. We got a lot to do here, folks, and I don't think you want me. I don't think you want me in here like going on and on about what's not in here and what's in here. Let's get to the tasting, shall we? All right. Here we go. This will be my palate cleanser. It's a little sparkling water called Liquid Death. I sip a lot of that at music shows, so I had a couple of cases of it, and I was like, let's go. All right, so here we go. First one out of the gate. And by the way, I don't know what these are. You are going to see what they are while I am tasting these. Light up the chat with whatever you think, but I'm going to be going through these very fast. And just kind of talking randomly like I would in like competition, and then I'll be putting my notes in the notebook. Looks like spicy. A2. A3. A4. A5. A6. What is essentially a speed tasting here is going well. So far this flight has been quite good. A8. Really splendid aroma. Wow. Let me just knock my socks off. A9. Just in this first flight with my palate cleanser, I can already tell I'm going to need a switch. I'm going to need water as well. I would normally have you know, Munster cheese, but that's over a 3-4 hour long process, and you know, I'm not going to have it on the table. I have palate cleansers in there, so when I need to take a break, I will go in there and fatten my palate up and do that. So here we are, A9. And the last pour of the flight, A10, which is the name of one hell of an airplane. Fucking A10s. Loved it when you saw those in action. All right. So we have a pretty impressive flight. I'd say there are two really prominent contenders here. Three if I'm dipping, if I want to say, kind of a long shot. If I retaste these. A5 was very caramelly. You know what? I'll go through all of them. A1 I found to be very spicy and oily. It had a really nice viscosity to it. A2 was herbal and coffee forward. And I think it's a kind of a brand that has a following, and I like that style. But this is a very meaty flight, and so its flavor profile, didn't fare as well up against the rest. A3, a really nice spice, real big spice bomb. A4, chocolate and very, very nice, like candied yams. A5, which I scored a 93 for this, vanilla, caramel, toffee. Trifecta for me right there. I love that. A6, cocoa, butter, and like rye bread, like a toasted rye bread. A7 I found incredibly complex. A7 was like next level complexity, and I thought that was going to be the winner of the flight, and then I tasted A8, which knocked my socks off. It was incredibly complex, chocolate bomb, just gorgeous. It was just A8 I want to spend more time with, and I definitely know that that's going to be advancing quite well. A9, kind of briny in a cola note. So A10, spicy, but a little too alcoholic for me. So that is the first flight. That's A10. We are going to press pause on the recording here and get set up for B. So flight B. Here we come. Here we come. All right, so that was flight A. As you can see, it's pretty rapid tasting. This is how you do it in competition. When you are tasting hundreds, or really more than 50, you got to be quick. Otherwise, you'll be there all day with it, and you're not there to drink. You're there to taste. And the measure was getting here to this level. That was when I was really, would really spend a lot of time with it. Here, once it's kind of like the NCAA tournament. There's a lot of the things on this list are here because I like them. They may not necessarily be SEC worthy, but they excited me, right? So they're part of what I think is the good movement of American whiskey. And so, well, not everything on here is from the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. Certainly an Eagle Rare 17-year would probably beat, which is not on this list, would probably beat something that is on the list in a blind tasting. But, this year's Eagle Rare 17-year, it didn't meet that merit of me saying it's got to be incredible. If it's a extremely allocated product, one of those kinds of products, I'm going to have a little different, opinion of it. So to get here on the list, it's kind of like, you know, it had to be exceptional for it to be here. And if it's a, you know, if it's a craft whiskey, it had to be exceptional. So everything here had to be exceptional. But the allocated products, I kind of looked at. I gave a very strong assessment of them early on, and if they didn't like meet, like, well, not worthy. You know, it's okay. It's good for this year, but it's not great. You know, so that's kind of you know, kind of like with the Pappy Flight that I reviewed. I mean, none of the Pappy Van Winkles are on here. The Van Winkle Family Reserve is on here, the rye, but those other ones just did not meet, you know, my criteria. We're not that good. We're not good enough to be on this list for me. But you should taste for yourself. I'm blind tasting, but I'm doing it in kind of a speed flight, and I'm going to go ahead and start with a B1. Go to B2. B3. B4. Wow. B5. B6. B7. B8. Yep. First spillage of the tasting. 18 pours in. I'm already spilling. Let's see if I can make it all the way through. Kidding. All right, B8. Oh, ho, 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 ho. B9. You'll see there is a pink. There's a pink on the label there. That's to notify me there is not a lot. There's not a refill, in other words. So this is the first year that I've actually not had a lot of help with acquiring the whiskey, and so I had a really good team of friends come together and help me last minute. So big shout out to Alex and Mike Godfrey for helping me out on that, and they did all the pouring, which is a lot of work. B8. Yeah, it surprised me. B10. Rinse my palate out. All right, so we're 20 American whiskeys in. Just finished the B flight. How I would normally do this, if I were talking to you all, assessing this for a live stream or for a taste off, I would be talking about each one of the glasses really thoroughly. Here I have 100 products to taste. I'm going to try and get it through all of it in one sitting, and you're going to see what it's like to do this. What we have here is we have our second flight. You can, hopefully you've been paying attention to my chicken scratch and my notes there. I don't have the best penmanship. But what we have here in our second flight, we have one clear-cut elite whiskey, and that's B7. But to talk about B1, cinnamon bomb, really like that. B2, you hear me talk a lot about grains. I like grains. This is very grain forward. I think B2 is a very formidable whiskey, but this is this is a top 100, and they made it here for a reason, and this very delicious, very grain forward. C3, a little caramel and some spice. B3 is one that could win a lot of flights. Really, really nice. A B4, boy, it just comes in and grabs the tongue. It's another one of those very, very, very good whiskeys, and this is a really good one. I think it's going to be one in the there toward the end. A B5, kind of a cornbread note. I give this, I talked about B2 being grain forward. That next phase of the grain is like when it kind of turns and tastes like a bread a little bit. And B5 is a little bit more sweet than B2. B6, it's got a long mouthfeel, so it kind of traces all the way back and even to the back of the throat. B7, just blown away by B7. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that one fares out. B8 is a honey bomb. I think B8 is one of those where I'm going to keep that into into the next rounds, just because like I think there's something special there with B8. I may not have scored it as well as B7, but I feel like B8 is one of those that can be sneaky and like grow on you after a while. A B9, boy, I was not expecting peat. You don't get a lot of American, you don't get a lot of peat in American whiskey. And so I kind of was like going in thinking like this is just going to be another, rye or bourbon or blend of straights. And then boom, peat right up on you. But so yeah, that was very nice. And these are like, I have no information on these whatsoever. I don't have proof. I don't have type. I have nothing. So yeah, so B9. If that's not peated, then my palate is jacked. B10, very chewy. So it's very, very chewy. It reminds me of like a granola bar, but kind of a one-hit wonder on that. So that is for this flight. I'm trying to weave in as much information as I possibly can, but again, we have 100 American whiskeys to taste here, and the priority is to get through these and not necessarily explain them or answer questions. So thank you for tuning in, and here we go to the next flight, round C. Let's go. So here we are. We're on our third flight, C1 through 10. Once again, we are doing 10 flights of 10. You get to see what I'm tasting. I don't know what I'm tasting. These are merely labeled as C, C1, C2, yada, yada, yada. And I'm trying to, kind of go through these. And this is about the kind of amount of time that you would have in a spirits competition. The only difference here is that I don't have anyone to talk to once I have made my conclusion. So in a lot of competitions, after you have tasted something, you then have a panel you confer you share your notes with, and sometimes you will. What I'm doing here is I'm going through all 100. I am scoring each one of these, and the ones that have like high marks for me, we're going to come back in and we're going to taste them, and then we're going to pick what would be our top 10 or top 25. On fredminnick.com, I will have that full list of top 100, but it's simply not possible for me to taste 100 things and cite all 100 of them here on this live stream. So what we are doing here is we are speed tasting, and we are basically talking about each one of them after we have tasted. So let's start with C1. C2. anytime I'm doing these major taste off like this, like it can feel overwhelming, but I feel very much in my element here. The difference between now and what I have done in the past is simply talking into a camera. But I feel very comfortable tasting very quickly and knowing whether I like something or not. C3. C3PO. Sure, Disney will come after me for even saying that. So far, this is a very formidable flight. Going to C4. You know, how can you pour C4 and not think about, you know, blowing shit up? Like, seeing C4 work, that's a whole other experience. I was more comfortable being around C4 than a grenade. Grenades always scared the shit out of me. I think it might be because you're just one idiot away from like dropping the pin. And, you know, you had to have all these parameters around you for C4. All right. C5. C6. C6 was one that was so spicy, I have to go, let my tongue air out for a minute. So I'll use this as a moment to tell you, like when you have one of those in a flight that really just kind of grabs a hold of your tongue, you want to let it kind of rest. You want your palate to breathe and rest a little bit. You don't want that whiskey resonating on your tongue when you go to the next one. And a simple wash of water isn't going to be enough for what C6 was. C6 is really kind of curls up underneath the tongue. It's like on the sides, it's in my cheeks. It's like, it was very powerful. Very powerful. So, you know, in a blind tasting, that's C6 is something that has a chance to win it all because it has that ability to take over your palate, you know. All right, so here we go to C7. C8. Wow. Another good one. C9. C10. So I found this flight to be a little more difficult than the last two because there was so much range in between whiskeys. Like, for example, you know, I get this big peanut butter note on C9, and then I go to a completely different style on C10, which was dill, herbs, pepper, and it's like, you know, I'm essentially what I'm doing with every one of these. I'm tasting, do I like this one more than that one? And it's hard. It's really, really, really hard. And so I have to go with what my initial instinct is with the score. And I found this to be a very good flight, starting out with 1, being a very rich caramel bomb. And then going to 2, has this lovely dirt note with some jalapeno. You know, 3, grainy and butterscotchy at the same time, very good. C4 had a little bit of kind of almond flavor and some cola. That was probably my least favorite of the bunch, but it was still nice. C5 was had a really beautiful chocolate, raspberry, and fig note. I really like C5. But for me, the winner of this flight was C6, spice, so good. C7, some grass smoke. I almost thought, you know, had a bit of a cannabis kind of note to it. C8, long and strong, and you heard my notes about 9 and 10. But I feel like C8 and C6 are pretty clear, you know, leaders here. C9 is kind of in that next phase, like it's just right behind him. So, you know, I've been picking like pulling 3 aside from the past 2 flights. I think I'm only going to do 2 on this one for the next round. So that's going to be C6 and C6 and C. Oh, I'm sorry. There are going to be 3. C8, C1, and C6. So those will advance. So we're in the third flight, and hopefully my mental acuity doesn't go away. Here's the next one. Here we go. All right, so here we go to D1. I wasn't ready for that. Go ahead and write these notes in here. You know what? 8, 9, 10. All right, let's go to 2. D2, tasting D2. That's nice. D3. Kind of like a Division D3 football team, right? That sounded good in my head. D5. D6. D7. D8. D9. D10. I'm going to taste D10 one more time. On that first taste, it felt pretty flat to me. Just want to make sure. Yeah, pretty flat. There's a little bit of, you know, herbs in there. But that would be. Okay, so I would have to say that this was probably, you know, so far the most disappointing flight. You know, there were some, you know, obviously everything makes this list for a reason. But when we blind taste, you know, all those reasons are out the window. It's all about the taste. It's not about, is it the first, you know, whiskey to use a 3-chamber still, or am I rewarding someone for using peat in a rye whiskey, or am I, you know, really encouraged by the quality of the blend of straights? Those things are all out the window. You know, here I'm assessing aroma, you know, taste, and finish. And at the end of the day, you know, some of these, you know, did not live up to, and really they were kind of bookmarked. It was 1 and 10. One was really dirty for me. It was like it did not express well, and it was kind of like drinking some dirty water. But then came in some citrus notes and, you know, kind of some marshmallow, you know, and that kind of saved it a little bit. 2 was really good. I can't read my notes, but I think I got a marzipan in this. Yeah, this was 2. 2 was either my favorite or second favorite of the flight. 3 had a nice chocolate note, but will not be moving on. 4, some nice cinnamon, some nice clove to it. 5 was spicy, like a nice spicy bomb. 6 was kind of like a peanut brittle, right? Like a little bit of a peanut brittle. 8 was very anise, like black licorice, kind of like. I missed 7. 7 was very light, you know, there was not a lot of feel to 7, but there was just like little hints of berries. It was okay. 9, it was really maple syrup forward, like really maple syrup. Yeah, I like 9. I think 9 was probably my favorite of the flight, but you heard my thoughts about 10. But between 9 and say 2, 9 and 2 were really the only ones that I would consider moving on from this category, or, you know, from this flight. And 2 is pretty similar to some of the other whiskeys we've already moved on. but I don't know how it's going to fare. But I know how I'm faring. We're 40 bourbons or 40 whiskeys in so far. Reed, am I sounding okay? Everything's good? All right. So that's Reed Sampley, everybody behind the camera. Give a shout out to him. He's my right hand here today. But I'm going to move on. So here we go. Going to glass E1. E1. Ooh, it's E1. Are you ready for E1? Yeah. Oh. A little rye tato there. I think, anyway. I like E2 a lot. And that's all I'm going to put in my notes. E3. E4. Oh, hello. E5. Not going to really comment on E5. I think moving forward from an aspect of timing and just trying not to overthink something in a moment. I'm going to give notes for where I find like the notes are worthy, but E5 was just, it was very, very, very good, but I didn't find it to be like, you know what, I'm so excited here, I need to write notes. Because, you know, once again, you're trying to speed along here. You're trying to get through this. And you don't want to rush. You don't want to rush it, but you also don't want to overthink it or try to, you know, compensate. You know, if I spend a lot of time on E5 trying to think of what that note is, you know, but I know I'm not going to grade it any higher than an 89, you know, then, you know, I'm losing quality time here, you know, to speed through them. And I realize that may not make a lot of sense, but when you're trying to, you know, finish 100 whiskeys in a sum of 2 hours or so, you got to cut some time somewhere. And it's also, you know, the thinking part. E7. So I got out of the Army as an E6. I could have been an E7. I also could have been an officer, but I always liked being enlisted. Officers just, I don't know what it was. They got in trouble for everything. At least if you're enlisted, you can get away with it. A lot of stuff. Holy shit. E7 is drop dead yummy. Caramel. So, E7 is one of those, oh no, the battery is dying over here. I don't know if we got a bad hookup or something. We may be having to go just one camera. But E7 is special. E8. My first sergeant. E8. What's going on? E9. Sergeant Major. I'm sorry. For those who were not in the military, I'm using the enlisted with E, and you know, once again, it sounds funny to me in my head, but again, this is my 49th whiskey, so. E10. Wow. If you could bottle up the smell of E10, yeah, it's fucking gorgeous. Wow. Beautiful. Don't forget the U there, Fred. Complex. Marzipan. '97. Okay. So, this may be the best class so far. You remember me talking about how the last flight I was a little concerned that my palate, might have gotten jacked up, and I hope we don't have that again with this one. This was a great one. This was a great, great class. It started with what I believe to be a rye and E1. So full transparency, folks. I am tasting this blind. and so you can show your ass a little bit on a on a whiskey tasting when it's blind. You know, I think E1 is a rye, but when you're tasting these and you focus on what is it? Is it a rye or is it a bourbon? What brand is it? Is it that brand? Or is it this brand? What you're not doing is you're not focusing on whether or not you like that glass more than that glass, and that's what you're doing in competition. You're not focusing on what is it. And with E1, I let myself go there. I let myself go to it's a rye. And if it's not a rye, then, well, you know, just shows you that you can't always get them right. But I'm pretty sure, I mean, that's a fucking rye. But at any rate, you know, you don't want to put too much focus on that. I really like the sugarcane notes in 92. It had this really kind of grassiness to it, but it is not elite enough to move on to the next round. It's probably going to be in that mid, you know, between 50 and 25 when the list is all said and done. But E2, just loved E2, and that it just was so complicated, so beautiful. It's definitely going to the next round. E3 was my least favorite of the bunch, I think. With it was spicy, but it had this kind of an off note to it. Didn't care for it. 94, molasses forward, scored at a 95. Love that note. E5, just straight up, that was where I kind of made that comment, like, you know, I just want to score these. I don't want to give notes, because E5 was one where I could give you tasting notes on it, but it would take me some time to decipher them, and I don't have that time. But I knew that it wasn't good enough to beat, you know, the majority on this flight. E6 had this Altoid note, kind of a mint, you know, fresh mint note, and Altoid's like a back and forth. I really liked that, but again, not good enough to go to that next round. When you look at like what the elite whiskeys are on this flight, E7 just drop dead gorgeous. Really caramel, spicy, big old giant fig note. E7 is just mwah. So for all you Sergeant First Classes out there, E7 is right up your alley. E8 scored at an 85. Didn't want to give too much thought into it in terms of notes. 89, very grainy, but grainy in an oatmeal sense. Like, I really liked the oatmeal flavor profile there. E10, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So what will be going forward for me are going to be E2, E4, E7, and E10. So that's what's going forward here on this flight. This was easily had like more thoroughbreds in it than any previous flight. I'll be very curious to see how they do going up against the competition in that next round. So that's going to do it for, we've successfully gone through 50. I'm feeling pretty good. Let's keep it going. So here we are. This is going to be the F flight, and this is 51 through 60, I think. And we are definitely past that halfway point. Can I make it all the way? Can I make it all the way? Well, when it comes to whiskey drinking, I do have some stamina. All right, so F1. F1 was a little, just a little okay, so didn't put any tasting notes there. F2. Well, that's exciting. Some little strawberry, little banana, butterscotch. F3. 93. F3. F4. Again, I'm trying my best here to get through all 100 in one sitting, and then possibly, determine my top 25. F4. F5. F6. F7. So I'm just trying to give some top line tasting notes, a score, and move on to that next round. I'm smelling F7, and I kind of know where it's going to go. It's one of those where I smell it, and I don't want to taste it. I am going to taste it because I gotta. But the taste was much better than the smell. Actually, tastes very good. A little corn pudding action. F8. F9. F10. Wow. F10 was all encompassing in my tongue, and wow. Okay, so this flight, there's some cinnamon on F10 too. This flight was so-so. There were a couple really good ones in here, and then just kind of some so-so stuff. Like F1, it was fine, but I didn't want to waste my time with notes on this because again, my mind is like I'm trying to be effective here. I'm trying to taste and be effective. Like when I'm in competition, I won't even go this far. I will write a score. I won't give notes. And the managers of the competitions, like, it pisses them off because they give the notes to the distillers, who the distiller is like, oh, well, maybe I can use that to improve my product or whatever. I don't care. I just want to pick one over the other and kind of be done with it. With here, I'm looking at this as like I'm trying to, get through this in a timely manner, and I found F1 just kind of be like, not noteworthy. F2 was some strawberry and some banana. F3, very spicy. Loved it. Loved the smoke in F4. I love the cornbread and spiciness in F5. I gave that a 94. I'm going to bring that back down to. I'm gonna revisit F5 because I don't think that's a 94. Well, yeah, I'm keeping that at 94. So basically, 94 is the range of which I move things on to that next round. 93 and above have been, what I've been putting forward. So F5 will go forward. F6, caramel, butter, salt. So I had some saltiness to it. F7, very nice corn pudding note to it. The nose was very off, but the corn pudding note was very nice. F8, hazelnuts, brown sugar. F9, toffee. And then 10, which blew my mind. It was beautiful. It was kind of a molasses bomb. So 10, 10, 8, and 5 move on from the F round. 10, 8, and 5. So F5, F8, and F10. We'll go on to that next round. Giddy up. All right, so I just had a bunch of liquid, so I had my hydration liquid. I had some more water, which I've been drinking a lot. When you do this sort of thing, you got to hydrate profusely. And when you eat, the day before, you want to make sure you eat a lot of foods that you do well with when you have a lot of alcohol. Everybody's different. For me, lamb, bacon, basically steak. So all the things that your cardiologist is like, yeah, maybe you don't eat all that all the time and drink whiskey all the time. So I've got 2 of the 3 of the trifecta that cardiologists do not like to see. The third one, I don't smoke. But I smoke cigars occasionally. Anyway, you know, in terms of my fitness, I have been doing really well with that here lately. Yeah. Not that you care, but hey, let's go to G1. G1 on up in here. G2. G3. We're hearing some loud noises outside the office. Sounded like someone dropped a bunch of bricks or something. So far, this flight is really meh. So hopefully it picks up, because I want to see a little bit more out of the whiskeys at this point. G4. G5. G6. G6 is the whiskey I've been looking for in this flight. It really wowed my palate. Need to give it a breather. I'm gonna have a little liquid death. A little sparkling water. I don't have a relationship with them or anything. I know when a YouTuber or someone comes up with a glass and like, and I'm having some liquid death, and it's just fine. And by the way, you can go down in my product section and buy a bottle or a glass or aluminum can. I have nothing with these folks. I just needed some soda water to cleanse my palate, and there you go. So you see me stretching my face. When you have a lot of alcohol in your cheeks, it kind of like, it feels like your cheeks are shrinking into your gum line. I don't know if there's any like scientific evidence that actually happens, like it dries out your cheek. I don't know if that's true, but I know that's what it feels like. And so I kind of move my jaw around a little bit like that, move my tongue around. I'm just trying to get as much air in there as possible and kind of let it stretch out a little bit, because this is a lot of work. I know it seems like, oh, he's drinking a lot of bourbon. You know, it's so cool. It's a ton of work. It's a ton of work setting up. It's a ton of work on the palate. So let's go to G7. But also, I'm not complaining. I like working, especially what I do. I drink bourbon for a living. Yeah. G7. G8. G9. I have HIJ after this. I think I'm going to make it. What do you think, Reed? Think I'm going to make it, Reed?
Yeah.
All right. The most important thing now is that I don't lose my palate, and I feel like I still got my palate. So G10. So we are attempting to do this all in one sitting. There's no editing, no nothing. We have a switcher, you know, software set up, a 2-camera setup with my, you know, one panning to my notebook, one on me, and we're going to try and get through all of these, you know, for our top 100. And I think we got a good shot. If I'm a betting man, I'd bet on me. All right. So this flight had a lot of nice above average whiskeys in it. But you know, there's only really one that to me would be in contention for winning this. What you're doing, you're looking for whiskeys that will go to the next round. You're not here to give a participation trophy. You're here to crown like what is your favorite. And you know, there's only one in this flight, and that would be 6. G6 is the only one that will move on from here. Everything else, -5 and 8, were just nice and above average. But G6 will be moving on to the next round. And so now we have H, I, and J coming up. Don't go anywhere. We're going to get those on the table. Round H. And here we are. with glass 1. Again, trying to do this all in one sitting, and someone just walked in here. The man who poured everything, everybody, just sneaked up and scared the shit out of me. He's got this kind of like Bigfoot bear quality, you know? We're on round H right now. We're on H.
Do you need me to scrub some of these?
Oh, you want to do some dishes?
If you need me to.
What do you think? You think we'll need it? No. You don't think we'll need it? Yeah, go ahead and just at least.
What do you want? Yeah.
Yeah, hand that to me. So this is the.
That's typed and printed.
Typed and printed. So this is what everything is.
Yes. A through J.
Okay. I mean, the audience already knows what's going on.
Great.
So, but. So he's going to do some dishes. All right, where was I? Glass H1. H2. I'm tasting like I would be in competition, so I don't put a lot of notes there. What's most important for me is that I have a differentiator for when I go to compare one glass to another. H3. H4. I think after this I want some fried chicken. Fried chicken sound good? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want some fried chicken. H5. Oh, that's great. So I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about H5 here. H5 will be moving on. This has it starts out with kind of like the simplistic grain note, and then it jumps into like some sweetness and like it really a beautiful ranging style of whiskey. So I was getting kind of bored and questioning my palate for a second, and then I came across H5. Did I say H5 before? I said H5, didn't I? Yeah, okay. H6. H7. Really liked H7 a lot. H8. H8. H9. H10. H10. All right. So this flight was pretty pedestrian, but there was one in here that kind of leaped out for me, and then I had a couple of them that were in that 93 range. You know, there was some quality here. H1 was very good. H2 had this nice allspice note kind of come in. It's a 93, but it's a low 93. So like if you were like to turn it into a decimal point, it'd be like 93.0. And same with Glass 9. That was a 93 for me, but not a 93.5 or 6. And the rest were just kind of like between 84 and 92. But there was one product in here that really kind of jumped out to me. I talked about H5 before, and it starts out as kind of grainy, and it turns into a sweetness, and that's a very exciting thing for me. So H5 will be moving on. The rest will be going into a cardboard box and being set off to the side. So here we go. We got I and J left. I and J left. Can I do it? Can I do it? We're going to try. So here we go. We're on the I. We're on to I. And this is, we have 20 left. I'm 80 whiskeys in, 80 American whiskeys in. I've culled what I think are going to be my, in that upper half. Well, they are in the upper quarter, based on these flights. And here I am on the I round, so I have 2 left. And I gotta say, I feel really good. I feel really good. Reed's back over here. Reed's telling me that I'm doing all right. I'm not slurring or anything like that, but I mean, I think spitting helps. In competition, you spit. You're not drinking all this. And this is what it's like. This is what it's like to be a professional taster. You taste, spit, taste, spit, taste, spit, taste, spit. It's not all fun and games. It's actual work. But that said, it's not really work. I mean, you're tasting whiskey. So, yeah, I don't even know what I was getting at. I don't know. So, yeah. All right, so let's go to I. Let's go to I. I won. It's time for some I won on up and, you know. I won. I'm an army of one. Remember that, Reed? All right. I too. I3. I3. I4. I4. Thank you for I4 coming into this flight. Oh, those last three were boring. So good, I can't even think of what to say about it. I'd say peanut butter 93. That's a high 93, so I'll say 93.9. I5, coming to you live from I5 in Tacoma, Washington. This is 93.7, The Buzz. I6, I'm kind of muscling through these, in case you can't tell. A lot of when you're doing these these big tastings like this, it's like everything else. You know, you have muscle memory on your palate, and my palate is used to this. I mean, I've done probably 100 different tastings like this, so I kind of know when to pause, you know, and right now after this flight, I'm going to assess everything. I'm going to have a cracker, and we'll see where I'm at. I think I'm in good shape. My nose is really, my nose is exceptional right now. Like I'm picking up things with my nose that, and when you're doing competition, your nose is a tool, right? So your nose will help guide you. And in my scorings, I tend to be, about 30-40% nose, and then taste and finish is the rest. Anyway, I'm rambling. I7. I7 has a really, really splendid kind of hot chocolate note with marshmallows. And I gotta say that this I7 makes me think about Christmas. And our families, we lost Jacqueline's father in June, and we're looking at Christmas right now very differently than we normally do, because we don't have Charles around. And I think of hot chocolate, sitting down with my kids and having a hot chocolate with them while watching a Christmas movie. And I7 kind of reminds me of that. And that's what whiskey can do. Whiskey can remind you of these incredible memories you've had in your life. And so I7 really pulls on those heartstrings, if you will. I8. I9. I10. And as you can see, there's a pink here. I mentioned this earlier. All that means is there's not a lot of product of this left. So it's kind of a message to me to be judicious with how much I pour in the glass. All right, so this I7 in this class is a very personal favorite of mine, but it will not be advancing. I just happen to like that hot chocolatey note, but there was not. Excuse me. I hope you cut me some slack. I've now had 90 whiskeys. So hopefully you can see past your. Give me. What word am I looking for here? Just cut me some slack. Just cut me some slack for burping. I apologize. And if I have offended you with that burp, if you're part of the Burpers Anonymous, and you truly struggle with burping, I apologize. That was not meant to make fun of you or the burping class. That being said, I7 is a personal favorite of mine. It takes me to a place that I'm very fond of, but I don't think it's good enough to be over here in the competitive table. The only one that is it would be the lowest score that I have put forward so far. So it would be 4. So I'm going to say that I'm going to revisit 4. Let me revisit 4. It had this really nice peanut butter note to it. Yeah. A little cornbread there too. Yeah, I can't advance I4. I4 is very. Hold on. Let me take a look at. I'm going to take a look. So this is a. If I have another 93 that's in there. So what we'll do here. Here are our. We'll just kind of This is my notes for what has went forward. B7 was a 96. B8 was a 93, so B8 was, we did have a 93 forward. B8 was a 93 previously, so I am going to advance I4. And since we had another 93 advance, for the hell of it, I'm going with my hot chocolate, special place to I7 because I did notate that as being a 93. I think that's a low 93. But so I'm going to go ahead and advance it. Because I think we only have one flight left. And I don't think I have quite 25 yet. Anyway. So, yeah. All right. So the rest of the flight was just kind of meh. The glass 3, I3 had this really nice pickle note to it. Which I'm in the mood of, I'm craving fried chicken right now, so maybe I should throw some pickles and hot chocolate based on this flight. So, all right, so we got one left. Reed, we're going to get through the top 100. We're going to get through it. I can't believe it. Am I good? Am I sounding good? You good?
Yep.
All right, let's keep doing this. No sound. Got it. Audio is back. All right. You all can read some lips. That's good. All right. So, how this will go? Did you hear me get through the J class? Here's a look at my notes for J. Get that for you. There you go. So there's the notes of J for you. J1 was a beautiful, really beautiful marzipan, very beautiful marzipan forward whiskey. Really loved it. 2 I liked. I remember it having a lot of vibrancy to it, but it was kind of stuck in between 1 and 3. 3 was very custard. I love me some custard and vanilla forward. It was beautiful. 4 was a honey bomb. 5 was a very coffee-centric whiskey. But the leaders of this class were J1 and J3. Both of those moved on, but I did love the coffee note in 5. I found it very unique. 6 was one of my least favorites of the entire competition. It just fell very flat for me. 7 had a beautiful fig notes. I love the fig. It had kind of like this pastry note to it. 8 was very watermelon forward. Pepper had a lot of pepper notes to it, and it was a high 92 for me. So So 8 was a high 92. And it had a little cola note to it. And I finished out without giving any tasting notes on 9 and 10, both of which were scored 90 and 89 respectively. So when I came out of this, we had, after Jay, we had another round in which I tasted pretty much everything that was like basically like 93 and above. So anything that had a 93 got a tasting. So and then I had another round. And so what I did was I took the averages of those two and then culled it down to 15. And so now everything that you see on this table has been tasted twice, and now I am going to taste them again. When I am done tasting, I'm going to put in my notebook the score that you will see the score as I am doing it. I'm going to come in. I'm going to turn off the chat, and there's going to be someone in the chat. Gary Penna is going to be in the chat, and he is going to be able to tell you what I am tasting as I am tasting it. So this is the live portion. Okay, so what you just saw previously was taped all in one sitting, and there's a couple reasons why I do it this way. One, I wanted to have the finals where I tasted a minimum of 3 times to declare a winner, because I don't think a winner should be declared by me anymore after just like one tasting of 100 products. So I want to make sure that I have I've tasted on 3 different days, 3 different palates, and so my palate is not worn out. So that's what you're getting here. And the fried chicken was awesome. I went to this place called Waldo's. I mean, I got like this deep fried, dark wing, dark thigh chicken. It was so good. Polish it off with a nice cold beer. So what I'm going to do now, Steve, you're right. I do need some Bojangles. I love me some Bojangles. Thank you, Shirley. Thank you for saying it's Killer Live. Yep. Here we go, y'all. Here we go. Yes, James, I have changed clothes 4 times, including underwear. All right, y'all, here I go. I am going to I will not be able to see the chat now. So after I get out of here with the chat, I will be tasting. I will be commenting. I will be writing here. I will be scoring. And then at the very end, I am going to combine the scores in a document that I have that's anonymous. And then I have, I don't know how he did it, but there's like some kind of, there you go. That's it right there. He's got a like a hidden spreadsheet where I put a number in and then it gives an average out. So however he did that, I don't know. I'm not a spreadsheet guy. So here we go, everybody. I am not going to see you in the chat. And Gary Penna, if my audio goes out again, Alex Godfrey, come knock on my door. Gary Penna, call me. So no one else call me though. I don't know what that would do to the live stream. We've already had some live stream issues, so let's not have any more. So here we go. All right, we'll start with glass A. Ooh, gotta be careful with that one. Not much left. I had to put my receiving thing for my lav in here, so because when you guys didn't hear any audio because my pants were making it go off. Okay, big. switch to this camera for you. I'll be adding tasting notes after I get through these first 4. Glass B. All right, so now I'm on to Glass C. Glass C is smelling very, very fragrant, very citrusy. And I have to say that this aroma is not coming to my memory. Don't want to get these mixed up. Glass D. And I have no way of knowing if I am live or anything like that right now because I have the chat closed. The only thing that in my software that I can see are likes and down likes. So give me a like, give me a down like. I don't care, but I just need I need that keep going, so I know that that this stream is live. I'm especially concerned after the snafu we had with Jay. A little marzipan action there. A little toasted almond. Now I'm in a position now where I don't have to spit on every one of them. When you taste in competition, you have to spit or you will fall over. I mean, there's just it's impossible to taste everything, and so even this mini can have an influence on you. But there are sometimes you, and this is in the case of most competitions. You know how it's going. You know how it finishes by the vibrancy it has, especially on the back palate and the front of the palate, and like how deep it goes into the tongue. So just by spitting, you can still very much assess finish. Do you feel it in the throat? Do you feel it in the belly? No, you do not. But you also have there's a give and take, right? So if you're going to taste 100 whiskeys, you can't swallow, and if you do, you're going to be going to the hospital later. So. The all professional tasters spit. That is the truth of it all. Glass E. Another nose that does not ring a bell. Get a little toasted pine nut on that. Spicy. So, what I'm doing again, I am taking the combined averages of the past 2 tastings with today's tasting. Okay? So, by doing that, I'm assuring that I've tasted on 3 different days, and I am not making a decision based on one tasting. That's the most pure, all around, tasting that you can do. If you're tasting at home, when you're tasting blind, one thing that you'll notice is you will taste differently every day. You don't taste the same exact things every day. You change, your mood changes, everything about you changes. And if you had an onion at lunchtime one day but not the other, that can have an influence on your palate. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get rid of things that could have influence on me. Step 1, having it blind, not having a brand influence you. And, 2, try to have some qualifications around it. And for me, a lot of it is the presence on the tongue. So I'm going to go to glass F now. Glass F. By the way, members, we will have a live stream after this. So if you are a member, come on over to the live stream action. Class G. Going to glass H. I found H to be really fruity, really, really fruity. Go to I. Once again, I gotta try to keep these in order. One of the hardest things about doing these tastings and talking to a camera is keeping them all in order. One year, like 2 years ago, we got them out of order. That was not good. So since then, I've worked really hard to not do that. Oh yeah, Class H. Ooh. If that's wrong, I don't want to know what's right. Going to J. J is one of those where I feel like I want to have this in my house. I want to sip on this every day. I want to have my friends over with it, and I feel like it's in that kind of it's kind of in that category of like an everyday bourbon, but on that higher echelon. That was J. I'm going to go to K now. K's got a really nice pastry smell to it, like a pastry coming out of the oven. Oh, man. I don't know what K is, but I'm just here to tell you, however this vote goes, probably the first thing I'm pouring after this is all over is K. K just hits all those points on my palate. It feels so amazing, like right now. But I don't know what these are. I don't know what they were before when I did my previous votings, or scores, and so K is just like, wow. It just really sings to me right now. Really good. You know what? I should probably write some notes on it instead of. I'm just gonna write sings. Wait, that's not how you spell sings. How about the signs? Sings to me. Oh, see, there you go. All right, going to L. So when I'm done with this, with the first taste, I'm gonna go back in, spend some more time with it, and then I'll give each one of them a score, and then I will go into whatever spreadsheet thingy I was given, and give that score, and then I will have like a total score that will tell me who my top is, and then after that, tomorrow I will post on fredminnick.com the entire rankings of the top 100. And I realize there's probably going to be a lot on there that people are like, why isn't this there? Why isn't that there? I'll address that here, and then I don't want to lose the element. I don't want to get out of the element here, but like one of them, an obvious one would be like Heaven Hill 17 year. Why wasn't that on my list? Simply because I like the Old Fitzgerald more, and the Heaven Hill 17 year was one where I was on the fence with. I was not on the fence with any of the Pappy stuff. But if I had one product that I probably would have put on that I didn't put on, it probably would have been the Heaven Hill 17 year, and that was like a bubble whiskey for me. And the Russell's Reserve 13 year, I simply did not like it. I tasted it twice, did not review it, but it was like offensive to me. It was just not in my wheelhouse. But I like the Russell's Reserve single rick house. So, so those are just a couple that, people will definitely look to, like, hey, why wasn't that in there? So, and the Knob Creek 18 year, I mean, if you saw my review on that, I really couldn't stand that one. Glass L. Wow. Going to Glass M. Going to Glass M. Oh, doggy, that's so good. M has this gorgeous coconut nose to it. Coconut chocolate. Oh, some sweetness there. Going to Glass N. Random thought in my head. I'll be joining Mash and Drum and ADHD Whiskey next week, 1 week from tomorrow, for Jason's Blendageddon. So make sure you tune in over to Mash and Drum's channel next week. I love Jason and Matt. Love those guys. So I'm so excited. So excited about that. Also, I'm going to have to tell Jason we bought a train. We have a train at the house, so I got some confessing to do. I like trains now because my little boys like trains. Glass Inn. Oh, man. This is so hard. And I kind of like the fact that I don't have to pick a winner. I'm just scoring them and combining them with my other scores. But damn, this is good. Going to O. It's my final taste for the first kind of taste. And then I will score. Glass O. All right. By the way, I noted, I didn't pan over. It's not easy going back and forth and talking and tasting. But I noted that O had a beautiful vanilla custard and some yams. You know, I hope I've been able to demonstrate over this course of a tasting what it's like to do this in competition. I hope that you've learned something, and I hope that you put something in the chat that I learned something from you, because when we taste together, we do learn from each other. You know, one of my greatest tasting mentors is Steve Beal, who is the most amazing human in the whiskey business. And I get choked up about, you know, Steve, because he all right, I think we're back. Are we back? I think we are back. Are we back? All right, we should be back. All right, Gary, text me if we are back. Text me if we are back right now. Sorry, folks. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I lost my feed. Hopefully you can see me back now. And all right, I'm back. I got a note that I'm back. I'm sorry, folks. There's all right, are we back? Am I frozen?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Am I back? All right. I think it's just I have a long fucking long stream. All right. Back. Back. All right. So we have. Are we back now? All right. Frozen again. Back now. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know what the hell's going on here. I'm just going to power through this, and hopefully I'll stop talking about life and things, and then I'm going to rank these. So, Class A. Class A is going to get a 94. Class B. $93.6. If we lose connection again, you know, I think we're good. I think it was the secondary camera causing it. But if we lose connection again, just look for the results tomorrow on fredminnick.com. because I have to actually do this now. I can't get myself out of the zone. Glass C. So Glass A was a 94. Glass B was a 93.6. Because we are in this stage, I am going to score in decimals. I love C. I love C. C has all of the properties of something I want to drink every single day, and especially in my family. But this is the elite of the elite, and I got to be very careful about not let my everyday love kind of spread forward here. I got to score it as accurately as I possibly can. And C is going to get a 93.5. But I love C. Like I can't stress that enough. But I don't like it on my palate as much as A and B, but C is beautiful. Everything on this table is beautiful. Glass D, a little bit more here. Don't got much, so I got to be careful there. Glass D. Glass D with that marzipan note, it's just gorgeous. Vanilla kind of curling up underneath there. Some jalapeno coming in. Oh, this is complicated. This is beautiful. I'm giving D a 95. Glass E. Glass E, really spicy. I love this toasted pine nut. Some cardamom in there. But it's a 93. Glass F. The syrup, the maple, gorgeous. When I compare it to E, I like it over E, but not as much as D. I think it's really close to A and B. So I'm going to split that in the middle. Give that a 93.8. Glass G. Glass G is really special. If you are in the mood for that mint, for this kind of like this powerful spiciness coming over you, G is your jam. If you were to ask me to pick the best like herbal spicy whiskey on here, it would be G. And even if you take out like given your parameters to it, G is still very much, from what I've tasted, top two. So I'm scoring G a 94.2. G gets a 94.2. It looks like we got most people back after that ridiculous stoppage, and I think I know what happened. I think the second camera just kind of overloaded it. We lost audio last week, or very similar time frame, so I think that might have been it. Glass H. Glass H. Glass H is very balanced, and I think when you taste, you can get yourself in trouble by finding really one large notes, like one note wonders, and clinging to that note. I feel like H could get lost in a competition because it is so balanced. But for me, that's a virtue. I love something that's very balanced. So to me, H is right up there with the best in here. So I'm scoring that a 93.7. 93.7. Glass I. Glass Eye is pretty special. It's pretty special. But I don't know if it's like 2 points more special than, say, A. I think I is very elite. Like, whatever it is, I love it. It's special. But I do not think that it is 2 points better than G, if that makes any sense. And I think if you look at this as a horse race, you got G for this flight. You got G like right here, and then you got I right there. I wins, but G's like right there. So I'm scoring this. I want to score I'm scoring I a 95. We have H at a 93.7, G at a 94.2, F at a 93.8, D at a 95, C at a 93.5, B at a 93.6, and A at a 94. So, as I go to J, I really would like to talk to somebody and go to the chat, but you all are in there and you know what I am tasting. I don't want to see that. So. All right, we go to J. Oh, a little bit of that old-fashioned goodness. J is the whiskey you take home. Oh, so lovely. Very savory. Has so much fried pie crust, some baked bread. Just so good. But you heard me mention the thoroughbred commentary with the horse race. Jay is the it is the horse that you love, but it ain't winning the Kentucky Derby, And for me right now, I'm scoring that at a 92. That is my lowest score of this flight, and I don't mean that in any disrespect to Jay. We got you here for a reason, so you obviously scored well enough to get here. But here we are, man, and it's time to flex, and it's on the palate. It's just not. It's savory. It's good. It's a home style meal versus fine dining. That's what it is. And so, while I like Jay a lot, it is a 92 right now. Let's go to K. K is so special. And this is going to surprise a lot of people who watch my work or read my work. There's an oak note in here I like. I like a particular oak note that kind of curls there, but then it doesn't keep curling. It just kind of like stops. It's an accent of a note. The tannins are here, but there's tobacco, there's caramel, there is cigar box. I mean, I smoke cigars. There's a lot of beautiful cigar notes here, and I gotta say, it's K is. I think I like K over I, and D for me tonight, personally. So, for me to say that, and I find the oak note, you got to know how much everything else feels awesome on my tongue. Because I do not like the oak note. I do not like it. I do not like over-oaked whiskeys. And so, usually, when I detect it, when I feel it on my tongue, I'm like, meh, move on. But I feel it here, and it's not the beginning of more oak. It is the beginning of more flavors. And so whatever K is, however it was made, I believe, very specifically for my palate. Because it comes in with an accent of note. Then it delivers like a lot of these more bitter notes. Like I love bitters. So it delivers like the tobacco stuff. And then it comes in with a wave of fruit and then a little bit of sweetness. So K is very special to me. Special K? All right, I'm going to shut up now and just score this damn thing. So right now, at this juncture, K is my favorite of the flight. I don't know what it was in the previous two flights, but K is my favorite. And I'm scoring K a 96. A 96. Okay, so now we are going to go to L. L is very rigid with this, like, this coffee to sweetness, this toffee, hazelnut, this cream. I think L is pretty special. Everything on here is pretty special, but I don't know. I like L a lot, but I do not like it over I, A, B. I mean, I like it a lot, but it's not in the upper echelon here. It's a 93. So it's probably tonight. It's probably like the, on the lower end of tonight. Let's go to glass M after I cleanse my palate. Oh. This is my second time tasting everything. Oh. Happy place. Happy place. That's what M is. Marzipan fig, caramel, molasses. There's things in M that you taste that just don't exist, and I can't explain it. But, I know how valuable the points will be tonight when I put them in the spreadsheet. So I'm going to retaste K and see if I like it more than K. Oh, I can't get over that. I can't get over how I want to just be. Like, just kind of like not be, working. I just want to sip M and like kind of go away and hang with my wife and just not talk. So for that reason, due to its complexity and other things, I am scoring the M a 96. Because I did not find it, as much as I love M, I love K, I love M, and I love K. I'm in this, like, they're kind of tied. Like, M, I want to be there with someone and talk about life and things. And it's all over my palate. And K, I want to be by myself with my thoughts and write. Like, I'm writing a book right now. I really want to taste K while I'm writing a book. With M, I want to be having conversations with my wife. So, to me, those two right now for this flight are neck and neck. Neck and neck. Glass in. Oh man, that smells good on the nose. Honeysuckle just coming right on off the fence. Sweet oats. The beautiful maltiness around it. There's chewy, but it's not. It doesn't have the horses to compete here. So I'm scoring this. What I think it might be. Might be the lowest score here. 93. No, we had one other 93. So, all right. I remember liking O quite a bit with the vanilla, the yams, the custard. So let's see here. Give that a 93.2. All right. I now know what my scores are. So I also know that the scores are over. I'm not going to revisit anything, so I'm going to crack open the chat, and I'm also going to start going into that Excel file and try to there we go. All right, so there's the chat. I was M20. Well, I'll be shit. Yeah. All right, so I'm going into the spreadsheet. I don't know what, I'm just going in the chat here, and Gary is saying that I is Boulder Spirits, but he also said I was M20. Which one is I, Gary? I guess I will find out here in a minute. So, guess I will find out here in a minute. So, to recapture the night from this tasting here, Glass A was a 94, Glass B was 93.6, Glass C 93.5, Glass D 95, Glass E 93, Glass F 93.8, Glass G 94.2, Glass H 93.7, Glass I 95, Glass J 92, Glass K 96, Glass L 93, Glass M 96, Glass N 93, Glass O 93.2. All right, so I am going to go into my Excel thingy and input my scores. All right, everybody, I'm going to text someone to come over here to have another look at these. Alec, can you come over? All right. So, I am looking at the chat right now. I need to get another eyes. I need to get, hold on. I have to get another set of eyes on this. I want to make sure that I do not have. I want to make sure that I have the right results. Oh boy, because this is a pretty prominent upset. So can you clarify what the Jack Daniels is from Dusty Dan? By the way, great channel over at Dusty Dan. It is the Coy Hill, small batch, 153.2 proof. Yep. So here we go. Some people have been commenting on Calumet 17 or 16 year. Look, it finished dead last in one of my blind tastings that I do in public, and the one that I did with Rigo in Washington, D.C., it was dead last, and it tasted like dirt to me in a flight that was not good. Then I tasted it by itself. It was not good. I don't know if they have some cork issues or what, but they seem to have some like wood taint or something there. I don't know. But the 15 year I loved. I loved the 15 year. It was great. But there was also a lot of really good 15 year olds that came out last year. So, all right. I am waiting on a person to come over and confirm these. And I do not have a person yet. So I'm going to look at these one more time. Going to do it myself, folks. Now, I am going to tell you that this is going to be like a wait until the official counts are made, like with the betting windows. Oh, there he is. There he is, folks. Thank you for coming.
Happy
Yep.
to.
All right. Can you take a? You're going to be on camera here.
No problem. How's it going, everybody?
All right.
94, 93.6, 93.5,
Okay.
95, 93, 93.8, 94.7, 92 for J.
92 for J. Yep.
96 for K.
Okay.
93 for L. 96 for M. 93 for N. 93.2 for O. There's your winner. Winners in reverse order.
Okay. Wait, how's that the winner? Like
Of the average? Based on averages?
But that one has. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. That's okay. It's just a bottle. All right. We have a winner here. We have a winner. And first of all, I want to thank everyone for tuning in and bearing with me for the obscene and obscure issues with, with technology, but it happens. And I am not a TCU fan, but I will root for them because I am Big 12. Go Pokes. All right, let's go to what is number 15. Coming in at number 15 is Sweetens Cove Speyside finish. Sweetens Cove Speyside finish. At number 14, Doc Swinson's Tawny Port finish. Doc Swinson's Tawny Port finish. At number 13, Old Fitzgerald 17 year. Old Fitzgerald 17 year. At number wait, no, that was 13. 12. Hold on. It has one of those things at the top that confuses me. At number 12, Bardstown Bourbon Company, Discovery, Batch 9. Discovery, Batch 9. batch 9. At number 11, Pacific Coast American Single Malt at 11. At number 10, Boulder Spirits Colorado Straight Bourbon Whiskey, cask strength. At number 9, Old Ezra 7-year full-proof rye was number 9. At number 8, Four Roses Limited Edition Small Batch. At number 7, Stag, formerly Stag Junior. At number 5, 6. At number 6, Booker's 2022-3 Kentucky Tea Batch. At number 6, Booker's Kentucky Tea Batch. At number 5, Michter's 20-year-old. At number 5, Michter's 20-year-old. At number 4, Old Fitzgerald 19-year-old. Old Fitzgerald 19-year-old at number 4. At number 3, George T. Stagg. George T. Stagg from the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. At number 2, Jack Daniel's Small Batch 153.2 proof from the Coy Hill. At number 2, Jack Daniel's Small Batch Coy Hill 153.2 proof. And at number 1, get ready to wait in line if you get the opportunity to wait in line for it. Yeah, it won't matter. You won't be able to get it anyway, but it's incredible fucking whiskey. The 2022 William LaRue Weller. One of the crazy things about this is that when I tasted it, I liked the Stag better. When I tasted it, knowingly, it was the Stag was better than the Weller. It was. But in a blind tasting in which I did not know what I was tasting 3 times in a row, the Weller had the high points. And let me tell you the differentiation of points. At number 1, 96 points was Weller. At 95.66 was Jack Daniel's and Stag. And the Old Fitzgerald came in a pretty, distant fourth at 94.56. And right after that was Michter's 20 at 94.33. And the one product that you can probably get is coming in at 6 at the Kentucky Tea Batch, the Booker's, and also at 9, the Old Ezra. But look, 94.2 is Old Ezra. There's a lot of separation there. There's not much separation there between that and Weller. There's just not. There is a ton of great whiskey that's out there. I want to highlight some of the things that are in here that are small distillers. Folks, Boulder Spirits from Colorado made my top 10. All right? They didn't make that top 10 because they got lucky into it. They got into the top 10 because their whiskey is good. That wowed me every single step of the way. Absolutely wowed me. Yeah, so I will say big shout out to them. Big shout out to another craft distiller in the Pacific Coast, American Single Malt. Fan-friggin-tastic. Wow. But I don't want you to rest on this on the Sweetens Cove. Sweetens Cove, a Speyside finish. Again, did not know what I was tasting tonight, folks. Did not know. But that Speyside finish, when I tasted it on camera, was fantastic. And tonight it came through, and that was a retail purchase product. So good lineup here for tonight for the top 15. I would like to just kind of push this stuff forward, and if you all don't mind, like, have a few conversations with you all. Yeah, I just want to have a little conversation with you. Like, if you have any questions, anything you want to ask me, Vicious Victor T, now Maryland Heritage Series. I should get on that. I will. I have tasted through it before. I will again. Eric, my boy Eric, missed you tonight. Eric's been like really my number 2 at my in-person tastings, and I have a very special bottle for you, Eric, whenever we hang out again. And I know you have a lot of my stuff, so we need to hook up. DL says, biggest surprise, ask the question, biggest surprise of the year. And Whiskey Straight Up, my boy Derek's like, where's the beaver poop juice? Yeah, they don't make it very often on my list. Biggest surprise of the year for me, I want to say just overall, Colorado. Colorado's making some amazing whiskey right now. Boulder Spirits having something in my top 10. I had 3 in my top 100. 291. Also Leopold Brothers, and so 291 Leopold Brothers, and who else I have from so those are the 3, but also Breckenridge had some good stuff that was like on the cusp. They were like on the outside looking in. They were like bubble whiskeys, if you will. So I think the biggest surprise for me this year is how good Colorado whiskey is getting. And I think they're about to leapfrog Texas. I really do. Whatever's happening in Colorado, despite my previous comments about, 5 Trail American whiskey, which was Coors Light's whiskey or Coors whiskeys, I think there's something special going on in Colorado, and I think everybody needs to pay attention to that. So that is, to me, is the biggest surprise of 2022. And if you're not paying attention to Colorado whiskey, you're missing out. What's your best on the shelf mostly every day? That's from MSA. MSA, look, I'm trying to keep that conversation to March. And we had that conversation in March this year. And it was the best everyday bourbon was Old Granddad 114. Also, my wife really wants a lot of Booker's and Starlight Double Barrel. So, John Jordan, corsets, whips, and whiskey. Did well in the Ascot Awards, but didn't do here? Oh, great question, John. So, John, that was a 2021 product. I had not tasted anything that was made in 2022. That's my fault. That's also like, I don't have a large team reaching out to people. And if distilleries do not send me stuff, if I don't see something in a liquor store, it is hard for me to assess it. So if I don't taste it, I can't assess it. So what I tasted that won the Ascots was from 2021. The things that I do not consider are limited edition products that I tasted in the year before. I will consider it if I tasted it the year after, but if I tasted it the year before, I will not consider it. I will not consider single barrels for this list, and I also will not consider like standard, everyday products that are mainstays, unless they like overwhelm me in like a blind competition. So I extract all my products for this list from my. Hey, Alex, you here? All right, I don't have anyone here. Hey, can you grab the Boulder Spirits bottle? Where was I? So single barrels. I don't assess single barrels for this list. It has to be made in this year, and all right, okay, all right. So this is the bottle. This is the bottle from Colorado Spirits. And hey, Alex, how about a round of applause for Alex, everybody? Huh?
No need for
You want something?
Not right now.
Oh, not right now. Okay. So, it's fucking drink whatever over there.
Do you want another bottle?
No, well, I might have to get another bottle, but you drink whatever you want. Did J. Henry send you their anniversary bottle? We'll need you to try that when they do in 2023. I tasted a lot of J. Henry when I was in Wisconsin, and it did not fare as well as I'd hoped in my blind tasting, and that was with an audience. Bruin, how does JB keep cranking out great Booker's releases? Booker's or BTAC the most consistent product line? Booker's is pretty damn consistent, and the problem with Booker's is they have a wave of pricing. With BTAC, for whatever reason, they stay with their pricing of being $99. It's ridiculous, but they do all right. Sean Kale, ugh, this Boulder Spirits bottle is going to fly off the shelf tomorrow. I don't know about that, Sean. When it comes to the craft products, people don't listen to tasters about that. They just want to know if it's stag or if it's double oak or toasted or something. I wouldn't think too much on that. Mike LSU, no Lucky 7 this year. You know what, Mike? I'm glad you asked that question, because when a product is sourced, I'm really much thinking about what did you do to make it different. What did you do to make it different? And Smoke Wagon, to me, is a really great example of a brand that makes it different. They blend differently. They get their own special mash bills. And Lucky 7 was great last year for me. But this year, it seemed to me like Pinhook, Penelope. Those were the two leading ones that were I put in that same category as Lucky 7. So, Simon noticed Henry McKenna 10-year anywhere now? No, it's not. In fact, Simon noticed I was talking to my old battle buddy from Iraq, and yesterday, and I was like, so I'm doing my top 100, this week. And he's like, great. What are you going to ruin for me now? And I was like, we are literally like best friends. And you're giving me fucking shit over Henry McKenna, because Henry McKenna was his favorite, and he can't go into Triggs and Wisconsin anymore and get Henry McKenna for under $60. And he's like fucking with me. And actually, he wasn't fucking with me. He was like legit pissed off at me because he thinks I ruined it. And I think, and Simon, I don't know if that's your real name, but put yourself in my position. I have the best job in the world. People come to me, ask my advice on what I think about a whiskey. This year alone, I tasted between 800 and 1,000 whiskeys. And it's a privilege. I love what I do. I'm proud to do what I do. Do you want me to put out something? You want me to taste something and tell you that it sucks if I don't really believe it? Do you want me to do that? Because if so, I mean, that's not ethical. And I can't tell you I like something or don't like something if I don't. And I think that's the world I live in, is like my wife is on me for bringing attention to Old Forester 1920, But what am I going to do? I taste and I give my opinion. I don't own a brand. I'm not one of these people that have been doing this for a long time and then start doing a brand. I give my opinion on stuff. And so if someone so happens to respect my opinion enough to go buy that, then I'm actually kind of honored, to be honest with you. But so if someone tonight decides to go and buy Boulder Colorado Spirits cask strength bourbon, that'd be pretty cool, in my opinion. I have no stake in that, nothing. But it was my flavor, it was my taste, my description of flavor over 3 tastings that make me very, very proud to put forward that note, or that score, those tasting notes. So yeah. But my own battle buddy giving me shit about Henry McKenna, it just never ends. Is what it is, I guess. Simon Noda says, "Love ya, but you're the touch of death." I suppose. Okay. All right. Well, hey, how about to the members? We head on over to. We will head on over to the member area and do a live stream there. I should probably drink some water as well as eat something. So give me about 10 minutes. So I will see you all in the live stream, and apologies for the technical issues. Cheers, y'all.